2 million people have signed a petition against it. And it's interesting, Adam, one of Starmer's arguments around why they need to implement this digital ID to be mandatory for all workers is it would help make borders more secure. I don't think he has any credibility on that issue. And if you want to look at, the United States of America, America managed to get its border under control without digital ID. But there is this genuine concern that, that there's this push for digital IDs really and it's being driven by money and this idea for greater control.
Yeah, certainly I think that is true. And just on the migration issue, of course, the US is not an island like the UK, so it should be much easier for the UK to control immigration than the US. But, this is not the problem that the British people wanted solved. They wanted the immigration issue solved. I mean, I think there's something like 4 million immigrants came into the UK in the last 4 years, most of them unwanted by the British people, let's be frank. And so the solution to that is not to send the illegals home, but to introduce this ridiculous digital ID. I mean, I suspect it's going to be very unpopular in the UK. Of course, as you said, it's going to be mandatory. He's already the most unpopular Prime Minister in British history. I think that's going to get even worse. And there'll probably be riots over this, I imagine, as well. I mean, it is a big change in the political philosophy of British governance, which used to be about free speech and freedom, and now they're going to introduce this. And the big concern I think for Australians is that this is going to come here too. I mean, we just saw Albanese at the British Labor Party, basically extolling the virtues of Keir Starmer, and so it wouldn't surprise me if we get a similar thing down here too. It's not about immigration ultimately.
No,
it's about controlling people more generally, controlling their speech online in particular.
Yes.
What's probably going to happen in Australia is the government's going to say, we need to do this so that we can verify your age when you log online and so we know what you're looking at, right? So it's all going to be about saving the children. But really, it just, it just leads to much greater government control.
Absolutely. No, it's not about the children, even though they might say that it is. You mentioned that Keir Starmer is now the most unpopular British Prime Minister in history. This Ipsos poll found that just 13% of voters are satisfied with the job he's doing. I mean, who are the 13%? But this is, of course, compared to 79% who are unsatisfied. So that leaves him on a net rating of -66, the lowest satisfaction rate for any PM recorded by Ipsos since they were set up in 1977. And Nigel Farage is viewed as the most capable Prime Minister. He's well ahead in the polls, and that does not surprise me, Adam.
No, that's certainly true. Look, I think there was a landslide when British Labor won a few years ago, but I don't think that it was for affection for Keir Starmer at all. Obviously, it was just basic lasting dissatisfaction with the Tories. So look, I mean, he's just not achieved what he said he'd achieve, and it's not just the immigration issue, which has certainly justifiably made the British government very unpopular, but it's also the price of energy. We don't see that as much in the media, but UK electricity is now the most expensive in Europe, and that's because of the rollout of wind power, basically. And so that's very badly affected people's cost of living. So that's been a big factor as well in his unpopularity. And if I was Anthony Albanese here, I'd be worried that some of those factors are basically going to be the same in Australia as well. We've got the immigration issue on the boil, and of course the power price issue as well. So some of those factors I think are going to be imported into Australia soon as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, Anthony Albanese has used a taxpayer-funded trip to a UK Labor conference to praise, left-wing leaders and progressive politics. Before he got up to speak, Keir Starmer told the audience that Mr Albanese was an inspiration and a partner in standing up to the divisive politics of the right. Now, Albanese had earlier said that he didn't want to see the rise of populist organisations such as Reform UK, headed up by Nigel Farage.